Hey, you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you. Are you looking for the best way to promote your podcast? It's easy. Just advertise your podcast to your ideal target audience. That's right, listeners of similar podcasts. Podbean has the best and most cost-effective options for you. Just go to the website sponsorship.podbean.com/STR. That's right, your friends here at Scout Team Radio are hooking you up. Go to sponsorship.podbean.com/STR and you will get the best deals to get your podcast rolling. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Scout Team Radio.
Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning and welcome back. That's right, you are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, right here on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Okay. And the man on the other microphone, he is a great American and a great, great patriot.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is your boy, Chris America, coming to you live this Tuesday, June the 18th, 2019. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You got it.
Score. Another win.
We might need to
for
take
the
this whole
good
date
guy.
thing away from you because you struggle. Every
I do
morning
struggle.
it's
Well,
like a
listen.
full-on struggle.
I have to get better. I will get better. I am better.
Okay.
We've come a long way since May the 10th, as I'm calling it, April the 13th.
Yeah. I don't know that we could have gone a lot further from that, but
I mean,
yeah,
that was as low as it gets.
That was as low as it gets. Well, Chris America, you had the lowest of lows, but I just want you to know that the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi Leonard had the highest of highs. So I need Kawhi to come on and tell us how he really feels.
Open arms, man. It made my experience that much better. This group of guys let me do what I do on the floor. Coach Nick let me do what I do. And now we got a championship. Thank you. And like they said, enjoy this moment, and have fun with it.
That was my favorite part. Ha.
I think you need to isolate that and make that a drop.
I might. That one's even better than the original.
It was.
That was classic. I had to play it. We love the Kawhi laugh here on Scout Team Radio. If you hear it on our commercials, you hear it as a sound effect as we go through. And now Kawhi is trolling himself, which is the best thing to do when something in your life happens.
Self-deprecation, man.
Yes, that's the best thing to do. And sometimes I just have to laugh about it. And that's the only thing that'll get me through it. And so Kawhi, he does the same thing. He says he wants to laugh about it too.
So, Landbeard, I'm not going to say that listening to that Kawhi is gone. However, listening to that, my faith in him staying is waning.
Why is that?
It was just very non-committal, like... It was just so much of like I came as a guest, and I'm glad I got to make things great for you. So just enjoy it. It just it sounded very much like again his mind might not be made up, and he might be leaning towards leaving. He might be leaning towards saying like he might not know where he's at right now at this thing, But it was just very much so. I think that's why he played the like, let me just stay middle ground and not say anything too committal or anything that like tips my hand that, I'm leaving. Let me just stay that middle ground where I'm not. If you listen to it, he's like, I just, it was awesome that you guys welcomed me with open arms. It was a great season. I hope you guys enjoy it. As in, like, I'm gonna go, or I might stay, but just always focus on the fact that I got you a championship, no matter what I do.
Well, I can't argue with you with the tone and how it was said and staying on that middle ground, but Kawhi's always been one of those guys that he doesn't show a lot of emotion. He doesn't play his hand. He kind of has a plan in the background, and he doesn't let anybody know it. Or he only lets the people really close to him know it, people that he trusts that aren't going to let it out. So he may not know if he wants to stay or not. We had those rumors of him buying a house.
Yeah.
He won a championship. I mean, these are all things that are very important to somebody that would like to stay on a team. Knowing that you're going to be on a winning team, knowing that that team is doing the right thing for you, that they're supporting you, and that you have a beautiful house there in Toronto, and that the city loves you, and they're all cheering for you. Those are all good things, but he still is non-committal, like you said. So, yeah, you may not be as confident as I am, but I'm sticking with what I said from the very beginning, and that is Kawhi is staying. This is the absolute best place for him. He is now a legend in the city of Toronto. They have this huge parade yesterday. I mean, they had to close off the streets because there was just so many people there, and everybody loves Kawhi because he seems to be the guy, the piece that brought that championship. This was a great team that couldn't get over the hump, and as soon as Kawhi comes into town, they win a championship. So he's there. This is his opportunity. If he goes anywhere else, think of it. The teams that are interested in him, the teams that want him, I mean, every team would be interested in him, but the teams that are serious after going after him, a team like LA, if he goes out to LA, do you think he's got the same respect out there when he's playing with guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis? No, they're going to not give him the love that he received in Toronto. What other teams could he go to? The Clippers? Yeah, maybe he could be the man with the Los Angeles Clippers. That one I could kind of see a little bit, but it's not going to be the same as here in Toronto. In Toronto, he is basically a god at this point because he brought this franchise their first ever championship, and it just seems like the right place for him. So I'm sticking with it. I think he stays.
I honestly think the only thing that can get him is the Lakers. Is LeBron and AD going to him and saying, hey, let's go on a banana boat ride.
Is that going to be your final answer, Alex? Yes. My final answer is banana boat for $5 million.
Yeah.
No, nobody. God, the banana boat. You know, you
there
get that
needs to be a new
visual in
banana
your
boat
head.
dream team, right?
It's 6:07 a.m. and I'm picturing the damn banana boat with Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James. It's just too early for this, Chris America. You had to bring that into my my dreams. I don't know what you're doing. Banana boat. Now I'm derailed.
They want it to be a new banana boat dream team. And Kawhi is the guy that is going to tip the scale, in my mind, to where I'm going to jump on this Lakers championship train. If they don't get him, then I'll be about 30-60, 30-70, where 30 they won't, 70%, 30 they will, 70% they won't. But if they get Kawhi, I'll be at like 90%. Like that team will be hard to beat, even with the Warriors, especially with Klay Thompson out. The Warriors are going to be off to a very slow start next year, depending on how long Klay Thompson stays out, even if he re-signs with them.
I think the Warriors are going to be better to watch next year, though. This is going to be a fun team because it's going to be all Steph Curry. It is going to be the Steph Curry circus, and I love that about what's going to be going on next year. Now, I will say to you, Chris America, I'm thinking about the 16 teams that made the playoffs. I would say about 12 of them, if they got Kawhi Leonard today, would automatically be considered the favorites. Would Would
Oh,
you
yeah,
agree
for
with
sure.
that?
Yeah.
12 teams. I mean, the guy is that good. And I think we forgot about how good he was because he had that one misguided season in San Antonio where he had those injury concerns and the team wanted to bring him back and he didn't want to come back. And then all of a sudden, all the drama and turmoil that came along with that created you almost forgot about how good he was previous to that. We were considering Kawhi a top 3 guy, a top 5 guy in the league. Then he has that one off year. And then it's like, oh, Toronto's really taking a chance on a guy. No, they're not taking a chance on the guy. They're bringing in a guy that is a top 3 player, top 5 player in the NBA, one of the best, if not the best, two-way player in the NBA, a guy that wins championships, a NBA season or a playoff MVP, a finals MVP. This guy is a real deal playmaker and a just game changer for any team. And Toronto was lucky to have him. And if he stays, that's going to be just huge for Toronto. If he leaves, honestly, Toronto can right now say, you know what? That 1 year rental was worth it. It was absolutely
for sure.
worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't get to say that very often. And now teams that have that dilemma where should I go after a guy that I'm only going to get for 1 year? That dilemma becomes even harder now because you say, well, what if we get a Kawhi? We get him for 1 year when we win a championship. Even in that point, if we give up our future for now and we win a championship, it all becomes worth it. So teams are going to be more willing to go all in. Kind of like Anthony Davis. Before he went over to the Lakers, the rumors were that Boston was going after him and that he wouldn't sign long-term to Boston. Well, Boston could take a chance and say, let me bring in a guy like Anthony Davis. Look what happened with Kawhi. That's the idea that's going to be going around. And I think this 1 year rental thing, it's going to be happening more and more because of Kawhi Leonard.
I completely agree. Now, Loudbeard, I'm sitting here thinking about the last, 4 teams to win a championship, 5 teams. You started off with the Heat, led by LeBron James, and he's got Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. And then you go to the Spurs, and you got Kawhi Leonard. I wanted to say David Robinson, but Tim Duncan. And who else was on that team that was really good?
Tony Parker, Manu
Tony
Ginobili.
Parker.
Danny Green was another starter.
And then you look at the Warriors. You have the Splash Brothers going on there with Andre Iguodala, probably the best season he'd ever had for Andre Iguodala, right?
Well, and then Draymond, too. You can't forget Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond Green. And then you have the Cavs, once again led by LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. These are all top players. And then you go back to the Warriors again, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, the Splash Brothers. And then you look at this Warriors team led by Kawhi Leonard. And maybe in the future we'll look back and say, yeah, Kawhi Leonard had Pascal Siakam. He's one of the top 3 forwards in this era, in this generation. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. He definitely was a really great player this year, surprised everybody. But still, Pascal Siakam is not a household name. He might be now, but he wasn't before. And then you got Kyle Lowry. He's okay. Would you say he's a top 5 guard at all?
No, he's not a top 5 guard.
Danny Green?
Danny Green, no. Not a top 5 guy. He's a quality guy, good starter, but he's not even an all-star.
Marc Gasol?
Over the hill.
Center?
Past
Over
his
the
prime.
hill.
He was a big-time, defensive player of the year, all-time, all-star year in and year out, but he's past his prime. He's not the same guy he used to be.
And then maybe, perhaps, this guy could be the next James Harden, right? The next guy coming off the bench, Fred VanVleet. But for now, he's just Fred VanVleet. Nobody knew who Fred VanVleet is. And even today, I think people may be like, I think I heard that name, but I couldn't pick him out in public. And so this is the kind of team Kawhi had. This is the kind of team that loses in the finals with LeBron James, and then people say, oh, well, look at the players he has. Only LeBron James has lost with a much better team than what Kawhi Leonard has won with.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with you. I saw a stat. I don't know if it was the entire team or maybe just the starters, but something along the lines of the highest draft pick on this team was Kawhi Leonard at number 15. So there was no number 1 guys, no number 2 guys, no top 10 draft picks on this team. It was all guys that were pick 15 or later in the draft, and they won an NBA championship. Is that crazy?
That is crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, and I look at it, and you think, these big-time guys, Kyle Lowry, he wasn't a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
Danny Green, Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet wasn't even drafted. He had a great college career and then got overlooked in the draft. And he comes out, and he makes his way. Nick Nurse was a G League coach. I mean, these are all guys that have kind of a cool story where they had to fight their way to get to where they're at. These are guys that are battle-hardened. They're not guys that were given anything. They all had to earn where they're at. Like you said, Siakam. Siakam's had a great year. This guy was drafted later in, I believe, the first round. Comes out of Cameroon, very raw. One of those guys that, draft day, they're like, he's got all the skills, but he's very raw. He needs to develop. He needs 3 or 4 years to develop before he'll be able to get onto the court. And guess what? He doesn't.
Think about this in today's day and age of one and dones making the draft, and those are who generally you think make up your superstars. You bring him up. He was pick number 27. He went to New Mexico State University from 2013 through 2016. So that tells me he spent all 4 years in college, right?
Yep.
And do you know how often it is that a 4-year college player does like what he did throughout this playoffs? It's not very often anymore. Like, those guys are a dying breed where you kind of look at players like that and you're like, you've been in college for 4 years and you still didn't make the NBA. It's almost a knock now to actually go through your entire college career as a basketball player.
It really is. Like, oh my gosh, you weren't drafted your freshman year? You're obviously terrible.
I mean, even if you make it to your 3rd year, people are like, oh, I don't know. Junior? I mean, I guess you developed pretty late, we'll take you. But if you're a senior, man, people are like, yeah, we'll just go after these cool young freshmen that are coming up, or maybe these sophomores that needed an extra year to grow.
No, I absolutely agree. And look at some of the schools that these guys are coming out of. These aren't big school names. Mexico State, Fred VanVleet was Wichita. I don't believe Kawhi was out of a big school either, nor Kyle Lowry. I mean, these aren't your Duke players. These aren't your North Carolina players that are on this team. This is a pretty cool group of guys that have come in from smaller schools, late round draft picks that pulled it together to become, I guess, the hero of this season, taking out the mighty Golden State Warriors.
Hold on. I have an urgent and horrifying breaking news announcement, Loudbeard.
All
this
right.
Came out at 3:31 a.m. This morning. French media reports former UEFA president Michael Platini, that's kind of a weird, or Platini, is in custody on suspicion of corruption for the award of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Is that shocking news to you, Loudbeard?
No. The whole thing is terrible. Soccer is so dirty, man.
Ugh.
All the World Cup stuff and just bribery and the different officials, and it's all international, so some places it's kind of encouraged, and the whole thing's dirty.
It makes college football and basketball look squeaky clean.
Yeah, that's a terrible comparison because they all are dirty. They're all dirty, dirty, dirty people.
Dirty, dirty people.
Well, I will say that the Raptors have this beautiful parade. There's a lot of celebration, a lot of people out there, but there is a sad moment. There's always one guy that brings down the crowd, and it looks like there was a shooting. So 4 people get shot, 2 of them seriously injured. I guess in today's day and age, it's not surprising when you bring together hundreds of thousands of people into a big city and they're all going crazy, and I'm sure they're all drinking and celebrating, and it's an all-day affair, that somewhere along the way there's going to be some mischief. And in this unfortunate incident, there is a shooting at the Toronto Raptors parade. Man, that's kind of sad, huh?
Yeah, that is kind of sad, but not as sad as this tweet I just saw. Maybe it's funny. Um, the Memphis Redbirds, which I'm assuming is a minor league baseball team, catches a guy in their stands with a big jug of like mayonnaise, I think, and he's just chowing down on this thing, and they just every so often they tweet out a different video of him chowing down. I guess he moved down to the front row, and then security went and got him and kicked him back to his original seat. But then they're like, right, he might not have been in the right seat, but is that our biggest question? So they're trying to figure out what he's eating. And he ate this thing for like an hour and a half out of this big old jug of what appears to be mayonnaise. Now, my guess is he just did
that's
the old...
disgusting.
My guess is he did the old put like pudding in the old mayonnaise jar trick, but
Oh, yeah, there's no way he actually ate mayonnaise the whole time. I mean, I guess there is a way, but that's
even if it is
pretty
pudding, like
gross.
chowing down a big jug of pudding for an hour and a half, like that pudding got warm, and warm pudding is disgusting. Not as disgusting as warm mayonnaise, though.
Yeah, pudding would be 1,000 times better than a warm mayonnaise jug. Yeah, that's the whole thing's pretty gross. And I'm a pro mayonnaise guy. I like a nice
mayonnaise,
turkey.
Yes. I don't know if I think Loudbeard cut
Sorry
out.
for that gap there. I'm having some connectivity problems this morning.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the internet is disliking my mayonnaise talk. You say mayonnaise and the Wi-Fi.
He went out again. Oh, he's still talking about that mayonnaise.
Put mayonnaise on my bread for the turkey sandwich. I put
Yeah.
mayonnaise. When I'm making potato salad or something, I'll use mayonnaise. I don't mind mayonnaise.
No,
But
mayonnaise is good.
by
it's
itself,
a complimentary. It's a complimentary
Yes.
complimentary item.
Yes, by itself, it is not a standalone food, and no way should it ever be considered a standalone food. Even in those situations where somebody thinks it's funny as a prank to try to
No.
eat a spoonful or something, it's not. No, don't
It
do
makes
it.
me
It's not
gag a little.
funny. I'm thinking about it right now, and my stomach
Yeah.
is turning.
Yeah. Same here.
This is not a good thing. So whoever this guy was at this minor league baseball game, please get some help. You need help, sir. You need help.
You need help.
And
How did he get that
I
through
feel like he was
security,
a
though?
Florida
Like,
man
imagine being
displaced.
security looking at him. I guess if it's like a minor league game, they don't care what you bring in as long as it's not like a weapon of some sort. But he had to have been getting real weird looks just carrying that thing into the stadium, right?
yeah, I would think so, unless that's commonplace at this particular place. What city was this team from again? I missed that part of the
There was
story.
the Memphis Redbirds. So maybe Memphis Spence knows him.
Yeah, Memphis Spence would know him. Yeah, people do weird things out in Memphis. You know, they got a reputation. They do.
They do.
Can't say that they don't. So
I'll
that,
retweet
that's
it. I'll
kind of a
retweet
wild
it
and
here in a
crazy
second.
story.
Let me find it again, and I'll retweet it so you and everybody else can see it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I get stuck on this NBA talk, Chris America, but this time of season is where it gets exciting because all of the rumor mill for all the different trades and guys that are going to be going into free agency start popping up, and some of the stories are starting to get a little juicy. One of your favorite players, Bradley Beal, he's out there. His name's being thrown out in some potential trades. Now, am I right by saying that Bradley Beal is a former Gator legend? Am I
Yes,
remembering
former
this correctly?
Gator legend. No, he's not former. Once a Gator legend, always a Gator legend.
Okay, so former Gator legend Bradley Beal. He is the Washington Wizards haven't given any indication that they're willing to trade this guy, but it sounds like the Pelicans have some real interest in Bradley Beal. They feel that putting him together with Zion would be quite the dynamic duo in New Orleans. So this new number 4 draft pick that they just picked up from the Los Angeles Lakers, they're already putting together a package around that number 4 pick to put something out there for the Washington Wizards to make another blockbuster trade. Now, I don't know if the Wizards will go for it. Right now, the Pelicans are just doing some fishing, just seeing if there's some interest. But if the Pelicans picked up Bradley Beal and then drafted Zion Williamson, this team could be going in the right direction, Chris America. There could be some positive change coming for this New Orleans Pelicans team.
Man, how frustrated do you have to be as a Washington Wizards fan, though? Because you felt like your team was drafting well, and they were signing good free agents, and they just almost worse than the way the Celtics were, that they just couldn't put it together. It just never came to fruition, and I almost feel like that's more frustrating as a fan than what we've had to suffer through as an Orlando Magic fan.
Yeah, that's debatable. I mean, at least they're making playoffs from time to time, and they have some superstars you can get behind. But John Wall has this bad injury, might not be back this season. I think all indications were that he wasn't going to be back this season. So you're not going to have John Wall this season. You have Bradley Beal, who's your only superstar. You've got some other pieces around him. Yeah, it's questionable. It might be time to blow this team up. You've given it a shot. Bradley Beal and John Wall have been together for a lot of years, and you haven't really put anything together that's been any serious run. You've not made it out to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they've made it, past the second round, maybe, or to the second round once or twice, but nothing serious, right? The Wizards have not been a serious contender, and it's just not working. It is time to blow it up, start fresh, and do what you got to do. And this could be a good building block for this Wizards team, getting an early draft pick, getting maybe some young talent in exchange for Bradley Beal. So if I was the GM for the Washington Wizards, I would be in serious consideration for this trade and for moving Beal so that you can start over. And then when John Wall comes back healthy next season or the following season, you can have him either be a part of it or maybe look at trading him at that point. So there's definitely some opportunity there, and you do have some value. But the only valuable piece right now on the Wizards that you can get a return for is Bradley Beal.
Yeah, for sure. And they need to start building around him. But I don't know. I just feel like Washington's kind of just like any of those other teams. They're not a franchise that attracts free agents that are huge. There's never going to be a time where Kawhi Leonard and Kyrie and Kevin Durant get together and say, you know where we need to be? We need to be in Washington with John Wall. It's kind of like
but there's only
the
like
Charlotte Hornets
4 or
with
5
Kemba
teams.
Walker.
Yeah. There's 4 or 5 teams that are those teams, right? And they typically are like your New York and LA teams that are able to attract that talent. The rest of the league is all on that same playing field where you either got to build in the draft or make smart moves. And at this point, the Washington Wizards are better off building in the draft, going back to square one because they came up short with this attempt. And if you got a guy like Bradley Beal, somebody will be willing to give you some assets in return for him. If you play it smart, you might be able to get yourself in the right direction for a rebuild. But everybody's afraid of that rebuild process, right? A lot of GMs lose their jobs because of rebuild processes. A lot of coaches lose their jobs. A lot of players, go through those 15, 20-win seasons, and it's depressing. We know that as Orlando Magic fans. We've been rebuilding since
we had 4 coaches, 4 coaches, 2 GMs in, 7 years?
Yeah.
Not a good look.
It's a fear that they have. Now, a team like Philadelphia is kind of the exception to the rule where they rebuilt. They've kept that same coach the entire time, and they call it the process. They were smart about it. They were very deliberate. They basically tanked for year in and year out, brought in some good draft picks, and then finally put together a team that can contend. I mean, they were right there contending with the Raptors. They gave the Raptors more of a fight than Golden State did, to be honest with you. So that's promising for Philadelphia moving forward. A team that did it the right way. That's what the Washington Wizards need to do, is follow that blueprint.
Yes, for sure. Loudbeard, before we go on to the break, I found one of the most hilarious tweets. And Twitter is sometimes the gift that keeps on giving, and I couldn't believe that I heard it. Should I tease it, or should I just give it away? Let's tease it a little bit. This is probably by far the most Twitteriest Twitter tweet of all time. And I'll have it on the other side of the break.
Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter. If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
All right, welcome back. Thank you all for listening in. We are Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, right here on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We appreciate you all for listening in. You can always catch us on 12-Ounce Sports Radio, but we also simulcast on the Full Press Radio Network, and we're out there on the Barn Burner Podcast Network. Catch us in all those places. If you can't catch the live show, make sure you hit us up on our podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and you can search Scout Team Radio. All right. If you want to get social with us, if you want to catch us on Twitter, make sure you hit us up at Scout Team Radio. We will read your tweets on the air. We will get interactive. We will do all of those things. So with all that being said, Chris America, I know you're out there. You're tweeting and you are teasing this tweet that you are talking about. So I'm going to hand it over to you, sir. Why don't you tell our listeners all about this?
Yeah, so I'm scrolling through Twitter last night, and it was one of those ones where I was like, really? And I just busted out laughing. And then it's one of those ones where you go through the thread of people who responded, and it makes that tweet even better. I could read some of the ones. One of the ones that somebody replied to it was, "Is this tweet you have saved to say you are being kidnapped or held captive?" Let's see. All right, I'll just go ahead and just tell you what. Yeah, perhaps you don't understand how this works. Is one of the other responses to this tweet. This is exactly why children should not be allowed to play on the internet. Is another response. And let me see if I can tease it. Wait, one more teasing tweet of a response. Wait, what? Girl, just go on and delete this. Are you ready for this tweet, Loudbeard?
Yeah, it sounds like.
And it was a very simple tweet
there.
It was an 8-word tweet with one emoji, and it's, I wish we could choose our baby fathers. Go ahead and let that one
Well,
sink in there.
I think that's a good tweet. I mean,
I wish
yeah.
we could choose our baby fathers. Then she responds, I don't know. And sometimes it's not the dad, it's the baby. Babies can be super bad vibes.
That's when babies have babies right there. That is the maturity level of
yes.
a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And not all of them. Some of them are super mature. But you know the one. You know that one
Yes.
that made that tweet. That's that immature person that should not be having babies. Yeah, that's not cool.
Loudbeard, I quoted this tweet, so feel free the rest of your day. Because honestly, the GIFs make it that much better. I can't go through and describe GIFs. That's not good radio, but it's a pretty hilarious thread seeing all these people like respond to this chick. Oh, I wish I could choose my baby's father.
Now, do you think it was a serious tweet? This is what I wonder sometimes. I mean, Twitter's gotten to the point where some people know how to play the game. They're like, okay, if I write something really dumb, we're going to get a ton of reaction. Everybody will comment, retweet, and some small to medium-sized live radio podcast will be talking about it on their live radio show Tuesday morning, June the 18th, 2019, and now all of a sudden we're going to get huge.
Yeah, sometimes you think that's the case, and maybe this is. She's really good at it because her next reply to herself was, y'all didn't plan your kids either, so what's the problem? So it's like she just keeps doubling down on how bad this tweet is. So again, if this is all scripted by her and she's just playing around, kudos, man. Like, I will stand up and give you a standing ovation. This is solid work right here to get you noticed and retweeted and liked. And you know what's funny though is even if she is playing around, you know some of those 3,000 likes are people who say, "Yeah, girl, I feel the same way." You know that's the case.
Yeah.
So if she's not real,
I'm sure there's a
speaking
few.
to people out there who believe the same thing.
It makes me sad. Sad to see things like that in the world, you know? Because people have been thinking that for a long time, but may never have come out and said it on some sort of social platform. But where we've come as a society over the last 20 years, I'm going to be old man on my lawn right now. I'm going to say, get off my lawn. Where we've come with social media and just putting it all out there, you hear some of the craziest stuff, and people don't have a filter, and they will put out whatever they think is necessary. And that girl, she's thinking, sitting there probably at home like, dang, I need to tweet about this. This little baby's crying in the middle of the night, and
this baby's giving me
I don't
bad
remember
vibes.
who the daddy was. I wish I would have got a better baby daddy. I can't pick those.
And then sometimes the dad's okay, but the baby gives me bad vibes.
Yeah, bad baby vibes are the worst.
Like the only parents who could say that are like Mrs. Hitler, Mrs. Gacy. You know, those types of mothers can say, my baby's giving me bad vibes.
Yeah, those babies probably from the very beginning. Bad vibes, bad juju, all that
bad
good
juju,
stuff.
Yeah.
I hope this baby isn't a future
Dahmer.
baby Hitler.
Mrs. Dahmer can say that.
Yeah, you've got some good ones you're picking out there.
There's some bad people out in the world. So, I mean, I guess if this baby does turn out to be a horrible person, then we can apologize to her and say, all right, we finally see what you meant by those bad vibes.
Well, there's a lot of things that could happen from now until then, Chris America. Maybe this tweet will be a turning point where this young mother sees the error in her ways and decides to turn over a new leaf and become a better parent and a better person and become, let's say, more civilized in society. Do you think that will happen after all the feedback she received from this tweet? You're saying no,
probably not. No, probably
Yeah.
not. But I am going to tweet at Memphis Spence. It looks like he's awake now, and I'm going to say, do you know this guy with that Memphis mayonnaise eater?
All right. How do you know it wasn't actually Memphis Spence?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, Chris
I
America.
said, do you know this guy? These are your people. We'll see what he responds. So Loudbeard, from bad tweets to what else you got?
All right, so I'm going to talk a little baseball. We don't talk enough baseball. I got some more basketball talk,
I
but
feel like I think we basketball it out.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm talking baseball.
Okay, go ahead.
So baseball, Manny Machado suspended 1 game. Now he's going to be appealing this 1-game suspension, but he gets suspended 1 game for aggressively arguing with the umpire. You don't hear this one very often because usually they just get thrown out of that game and not the additional suspension. Do you think this is where baseball's going, that these guys are starting to get so aggressive with the umpires and not giving them the respect they deserve, that we're going to start seeing more and more suspensions from these players when they go crazy on the umpire?
This is kind of one of those things, like, why are we changing now? Kind of go, like, I feel like the umpires, like, when players go off on them, so they can kind of go off on the player. I think it's just one of those, like, love-hate relationships that even fans like to see. I don't know if umpires are complaining about this. If they are, then I guess they have a right to, work in a safe, non-hostile work environment. But I kind of like seeing when baseball players throw their temper tantrums. Now that I say that, though, are baseball players the most biggest babies, or just baseball in general just the biggest babies? Like, they get oversensitive with bat flipping. They throw, like, the absolute worst temper tantrums, like worse than 2-year-olds sometimes. And they just seem like little children out there. I know they say, like, this is a kid's game, but do you think they take it a little too far?
Yeah, I would have to say they do take it a little too far. They're sensitive guys, okay? This is what you got to understand about baseball players. They're very sensitive. They're very emotional. And
Yes.
sometimes their feelings get hurt. And when their feelings get hurt, they have to let everybody know, including...
Looks like we lost
Sometimes
Loudbeard again with his radio.
Yep.
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, this darn internet connection. It's really trying me this morning. It's really making me very not happy with the internet.
You should kick dirt on it and then pick up third base and then throw it. That'll show the internet.
There you go. It's not a bad idea. Now, Machado, he was obviously the big name in the offseason, getting that super huge contract. Him and Bryce Harper, these big-time contracts. So would you say that a guy like Manny Machado and a guy like Bryce Harper, I mean, with the $300s of millions of dollars that these guys got paid, they should be the best players in the league. They should be leading all the All-Star vote getting at this point, shouldn't they?
For sure. But they're not.
So, no, it's not looking too good for these guys. All-Star voting has started, and they're tallying up the votes as we go. And if we stopped it right now, neither of these players would even be starters for their All-Star teams because they're just not getting the love out there from the All-Star voters. Now, is it a...
Do you think that's kind of fan backlash?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that with you. I was wondering if it's fan backlash, like you got paid this much money, you should be the greatest player ever, or if it's these guys just aren't that great. Like maybe they're overpaid players that were good but not great. Now, Bryce Harper had some great seasons. He was great at some point, but he struggled last year, and I don't know that he's doing anything special this season. And if you're not doing anything special and you're getting paid $300 million, do you think a fan's going to say, yeah, let me vote you in as an all-star?
No, not at all. They're gonna say it's that expectation relativity theory, or the theory of expectation relativity. You make $300 million, I expect you to bat 300 or more, and I expect 30 home runs by the All-Star break. Oh, you don't have those? Then I'm not voting for you. I'll vote for this other guy who makes 70% less than you do and has a better batting average than you.
Yep. So, and just to give you the official results currently, Bryce Harper, he is 10th among National League outfielders in voting with 498,000 votes. So 10th among National League outfielders in All-Star voting is Bryce Harper right now. Wow, that's crazy. And then Manny Machado is sitting 6th amongst National League third basemen with 207,000 votes. So, yeah, both of these guys not doing too hot in the All-Star voting. But you know what? They can just go ahead and open up their bank accounts and sit there and laugh all the way as they see the numbers, because they're going to have a lot more numbers in their bank than they are going to have with this All-Star voting.
Yeah. Where's the All-Star game this year?
I don't know that off the top of my head, my friend.
Are you ready for it, though? I know you're a big home run derby guy. I know that's your thing.
Yeah, I like the home run derby. I don't follow up too much with it and until it's time. So when it gets to be time, I say, okay, who's in this home run derby? Because each year there's a couple guys that I've never even heard of, and they sit there, and then when I watch it, now all of a sudden I know them. I don't know. I probably should watch it a little bit more when they're doing the selection and the voting and all that, but I just like actually watching the home run derby. I don't typically watch the All-Star game itself. The home run derby is definitely where I want it to be. So, and just so you know here, Chris America, the top 10 outfielders are what gets voted onto the All-Star team. So Bryce Harper sitting in that last spot for being an All-Star. So he's on the fringe of not being an All-Star. And actually, Manny Machado would not be an All-Star right now if they finish the voting today. So that's kind of scary. You spend all of that money to bring these guys in, and they can't even make an All-Star team. And that's troubling, where you've got other guys like Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich and Ronald Acuna Jr., and these guys are all killing it out there, and they're slam dunk starters for their teams and for the All-Stars, where a guy like Bryce Harper, who got paid $300+ million, is just barely hanging on, man. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Now, Ladbeard, I just said earlier in the show I have the most Twitterist Twitter tweet of all time. I think I found our Florida man champion.
All right,
I
let's
want
hear
you
it.
to I want you to Google this story as I'm telling it to you, because I want you to look at this man, because he is as old as us, and I'm looking at this man right now and I'm like, there is no way that man is 35. So this Florida man is swiping pool floats and having relations with them. And so he's in connection with theft of 13 pool floats in Palm Bay over the last 7 months. So this is a serial thing, right?
Yeah, it's continual.
He was caught red-handed when he was found with a garbage bag full of deflated pool floats. And the defendant said, not only does it, gratify me, but he also says this. He's actually doing the world a service for us, Loudbeard. What do you think that service is as to why he's doing this?
I saw the story. I don't want to steal
okay.
your thunder.
All right.
I don't want to steal it.
He does this instead of raping women.
Yep, he's like a raider.
That's quite the... Your Honor. Yes, it's weird, but the alternative is this really bad thing. So, it's petty theft, really. I mean, everybody can go out and buy a new pool float. So it's kind of like a everybody wins in this situation kind of thing here, Your Honor.
Yeah, I wonder what the judge was sitting there thinking when that was said. Okay, you bring up a very valid point.
I am glad you're not raping women.
Yes.
Because,
yes,
it doesn't say that he does these relations in public. So, really, he's just got theft. I mean, they said they charged him with burglary. But I don't know how, unless he got inside the house to steal these pool floats, I don't know how you charge him with burglary. So maybe there's more to that story, but theft and criminal mischief. which for him, I guess, is still a lot better than being charged with rape.
I would think so.
But they found 75 pool floats. So is it? I don't know, man. This is a weird story. Like, this is where my mind starts going. So I want to like sit down and have a conversation with this guy and say, do you just get tired of the one float? Like, why can't you just be a one float man? Do the other floats feel like used and abused and cheated on when you go bring in new floats? Or are you guys like in like a polyamorous like relationship here? I don't understand. Why can't you just have the one float and just be, married to it? And is he that broke that he can't go buy floats? There's so many questions, Loudbeard, and not enough answers inside this story for me.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I'm
75 is
trying
a
not
lot.
to think about it, but you keep talking about it. So, yeah, I still don't want to think about this. This is a bad story. This story
Did you
is not
see his
good.
picture? Did you see his picture?
No, I did not. I can
you
imagine
sit there and
what
you
he
say
would
it's
look like.
not. You say it's not good. I think this is it's a disturbing crime for him, and he needs help. But again, like, I don't know if what he's saying is true, but I do like that all he's doing is just stealing pool floats, bringing them home, and whatever you do inside your house with inanimate objects, man, that's between you and the inanimate object. I really don't care. Like, to be honest with you, I don't. This is America. I'm Chris America. You do your thing, player, inside your house. As long as you're not harming other people, I really don't care what you're into, with that kind of stuff.
So really the worst part of this whole thing is that he's stealing. He's breaking
Right.
into people's houses and stealing their pool
Right.
floats.
I mean, that's creepy in and of itself. Like, if I'm sitting there and I just see this guy, because if you've seen this picture, like, he's a creepy looking dude, and he's like sneaking around in your backyard and he grabs your alligator float and then just darts off with it over the fence. Like, that's a very disturbing experience to have happen to you. But then after you're done and you're study, you're like, okay, good, that's all he did. That could have gone way worse.
Yeah, it could have gone way worse. Yeah. Okay, I can't talk about that guy anymore. It's really creeping me out.
Do we
a
get a
little bit,
hot
Chris
Twitter?
America.
Do we have a hot tweet from Mike Burlon coming in? Let's see. What does it say? Does that dude have a bottom B float? I don't know what that means. Expand on that thought, Mike Burlon, and maybe I can answer that question for you.
Well, Chris America, you know what last night was, right?
No. What was last night?
Bachelorette, man. What you
watched
told
it.
me you watched it from start to finish.
No, I totally forgot it was on.
Now you're fronting for the listeners out there. I can tell that you're fronting. So I thought about watching it, and then I couldn't watch it. I couldn't bring myself to it. I want to give a hot take on Bachelorette, but I really couldn't. All I know is I looked at the recap, and it looks like Alabama Hannah called out all the guys last night for being too dramatic. She said she's tired of all the infighting, tired of all the drama, and she was also drunk on champagne, so it came out very, very strong, very, very firm. So Alabama Hannah, she is very disappointed with all the guys that are going after her and all the drama that they're causing.
Pretty sure the producers are like, no, guys, keep it up. Especially you,
Yeah.
Luke P. Luke P., keep up the drama. Is he still there?
I don't think he got a rose last night, but then he tried to wiggle his way back in. I don't know. I was getting a little bit of a side story from DD on this whole thing, but I kind of half paid attention. So,
Oh, okay.
this is like the worst analysis of Bachelorette ever because I really don't know what happened, but I'm talking about it anyway.
The producers were smart. They'll keep Luke P. in there all the way to the end. Even if she doesn't want him there, they just be like, you know what? We get it. I know you don't like him. We know he's not going to win, but he's good for ratings, so we're going to keep him around. Who's your next guy you want to get rid of? This guy's pretty boring. Get rid of him.
Oh, but there was other breaking news.
What's that?
They're going to do Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise, yes. I've heard
Bachelor
of
in
this.
Paradise. Yep. And so John Paul Jones, the guy that you said that looks like sunshine, apparently or maybe it's Bachelorette in Paradise, I don't know, but he is going to be on the next show. He was going to be one of the guys. So he's back. Your favorite character from Bachelorette is coming back for the next season.
Very nice. I'll be sure to ask you how that goes. And then you'll be sure to ask Dee Dee how that goes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it looks
Mike
like
Verlon-
it is probably entertaining, but not that entertaining. Go ahead.
Mike Berlon tweeted in what a bottom B is. I won't. You can look it up on your own from Urban Dictionary, but I would say, yeah, he definitely has a bottom B. There's definitely one. I'm gonna say, like I said, I mentioned earlier, it was an alligator float that he stole. I'm gonna guess it was the alligator float. Florida men love themselves some alligators.
Yeah, that alligator float's the classic Florida float too.
It is.
So, like every pool in Florida has one of those like alligator floats.
I mean, are you really in Florida if you don't have an alligator float with a pool?
That's a good point.
Well, Loudbeard, I guess we'll end it on that. Alligator float is the bottom B float. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. If you missed any of the show, make sure you download on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, or ScoutTeamRadio.com. Peace.